Lesson 2, The Hidden Harmony. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second lesson of this series dedicated to composing technical death metal. What? You remember a different voice? Well, the voice from the first lesson was generated back when AI wasn't this good yet, because I used to take years to finish things, and the only decent voice generator I had was that shitty TikTok one. So yeah, I'd say this is a necessary upgrade. In the previous episode, we talked about what I called the melodic phrasing illusion. This is the way the brain perceives melodic rhythm inside a riff made of continuous notes using string skipping. Today instead, we're going to look at another fundamental concept. We are talking about harmony. Many beginner guitarists, or people not used to this genre, look at a tech death riff and only see a mass of fast and chaotic notes. But what you often don't see is that underneath this complexity, there is a surprisingly simple structure. We can imagine a technical death metal riff as a building. The melodic phrasing illusion, the passing notes, the embellishments are just the facade, the visible part, but underneath, there is a supporting structure almost inaudible to an untrained ear, a skeleton, and it is exactly this skeleton that determines whether the riff actually works or not. To understand this, let's take the main riff of Universe Momentum by Obscura. Before anything else, let's listen to this masterpiece. The main riff is made up of these 4 bars. The first thing we need to do is identify the harmonic blocks, meaning the points where the underlying harmony changes. Even though no full chords are being played, the riff still outlines different harmonic centers. Recognizing these changes is the key to understanding how the riff is built. How did I do that? Simply by listening to the riff and paying attention to when it resolves or lands on a new note. Let's listen to it again and notice that. Now that we've identified the harmonic changes, we can reduce each one to the root, third, and fifth, the essential tones that define a chord, by removing the beautiful passing notes. Let's hear the result. We're there. Now we just need to remove the rhythm and stack the notes to form a chord made only of the root, third, and fifth. Let's do it. And now we can hear the hidden harmony behind this beautiful riff. A dark and majestic harmonic progression built on minor and diminished chords, as desolate and oppressive as possible, much closer to the black metal world than to traditional death metal. And this is why I love early Obscura album. Such an incredible atmosphere. Surprisingly, in most cases, these few remaining notes already form a very simple harmonic progression, even in technical death metal, because we are digging down into the foundation of the track. What initially looked like a labyrinth of sound turns out to be a much clearer structure. And this is where one of the most common mistakes appears, thinking that complexity comes from the number of notes. In reality, perceived complexity almost always comes from how a simple harmonic structure is orchestrated. If we go even deeper, we can say something very simple. A chord, stripped of all non-essential notes, is made of 3 elements. The root note, which is the tonal center everything else gravitates around. The third, which defines whether the chord is major or minor, happy or sad. And the fifth, which adds stability to the root without really changing the harmonic color. There is a clear protagonist in all of this, the bass note. And I don't mean the bass as an instrument, even though, yeah, I used to be a bassist. And because of that, I ran into this concept very early on. The truth is that in any kind of music, not only technical death metal, The bass must be clear in its harmonic function. Let's take the already familiar Smoke on the Water. The original bass line is this. Now, we keep the guitar unchanged and change only the bass. We can change it into a simple progression and listen to how the harmonic character changes. Or we can make it play an ascending scale, touching all the colors the scale can offer. Last example, a bit more unusual. Did you hear that? The harmonic meaning changes completely just by changing the bass. This happens because our ear naturally perceives the lowest note as the main reference point. One day, an old wise man told me,
"The bass is the gravity around which other notes orbit."
Like the sun in our solar system, or like that fucking giant black hole at the center of our galaxy, which will consume us completely and erase everything into absolute, inescapable darkness. Anyway, to summarize, the bass fundamental completely changes the meaning of everything above it. This is why, when composing technical death metal, we should not think only in terms of riffs, but in terms of harmony. And it is this gravitational relationship that defines the emotional character of the riff. Once you understand this, you will start noticing that most technical death metal riffs are actually disguised chords distributed over time. And this is one of the most fascinating aspects of the genre, hiding an elegant harmonic structure set inside what sounds like chaos. To practice this, take one of your tech death riffs and strip it down to the bone, like we did with Universe Momentum, until you get only the harmonic skeleton. Which notes actually define the harmony? What is the perceived root? What harmonic progression is hidden underneath? Then do the opposite. Change only the harmonic root while keeping the same melodic material like we did with Smoke on the Water. And listen to how much the character of the riff changes. Sometimes, when you remove unnecessary notes, you may find that the harmonic movement is very static. In that case, it's up to you to decide whether to add movement in the bass or keep it minimal. In general, if a riff has a moving harmonic skeleton, it will sound more fluid and narrative, because you are literally telling a story that evolves over time. With this concept, you will start to understand much better both your own riffs and the bands you listen to. You will be able to identify passing notes and rhythmic notes and the real harmonic foundation of a chord. It may feel complex at first, but once you internalize it, you will stop thinking about it consciously, and it will become natural. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. In the next episode, we will continue digging beneath the surface of technical death metal, exploring other compositional mechanisms with the same unusual, but hopefully inspiring approach. See you soon with a new episode of Decoding Tech Death. Bye!